right, let's hit the field.
All right.
Just wanted to talk, that's all.
It's Thursday, June 20th, and it was a low point for the Yankees as they faced off with the Orioles in Game 3 of a 3-game set. Aaron Judge back in the lineup, and he went deep, but Luis Gil had a really tough day. My recap, your reactions coming up next. This is NYY Recaps.
You watch the game? I mean, didn't it suck? It sucked.
Welcome to Yankee Stadium.
Just when they thought I was out, they pull me back, kid.
Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. That one was ugly. There's just no way to put lipstick on that pig. That was ugly as it gets. Tough day for Luis Gil. I haven't seen anyone hit that hard since Peter McNeely fought Mike Tyson. Fans of a certain age will remember Game 7 of the 04 ALCS. There was this great anticipation, and, Yankees were on the verge of blowing a 3-0 lead. Red Sox were playing better, but you had the anticipation that maybe the Yankees would win the pennant. But the Red Sox jumped out to a huge early lead and dragged the Yankees all over the field for 9 innings. On a much smaller scale, obviously a much less important scale. Today was kind of like that. Rubber game in the Bronx, most important series of the season so far. Judge back in the lineup. Luis Gil entered at 9-1 with an ERA around 2.04. And you figured, got a pretty good chance to win this series. Take 2 out of 3. But Luis Gil didn't even get enough guys out to form a basketball team. Didn't even get 5 outs. And it was over before some people had even finished filing into the ballpark. He gave up 7 runs. Now, a lot of the pitches were out over the middle of the plate, which is going to happen sometimes to some pitchers. Easy to hammer. But his stuff is so nasty that typically, even when he's out over the plate, he gets away with it. Which had me wondering if maybe he was tipping some pitches today. It looked a lot like when Luis Severino last year was throwing 97, 98 miles an hour, and he was still getting creamed. It had that feel to it. Orioles scored the most runs they've scored in 3 years, and the most runs they've scored at Yankee Stadium in over 35 years. 35 years. Judge, back in the lineup, looks like possibly the best player on the field for either team. Not even possible. He is. But the Orioles have the Yankees beat at catcher, at first base, at second base, at third base, and in the bullpen. We had the advantage in left field with Verdugo, center field with Judge, and right field with Soto, although Soto's not swinging the bat too well right now. And they have the advantage at DH. But they're just younger, they're better, and they are for real. And if there's any silver lining to this, it's that the front office has to recognize the Orioles are a better team and that the Yankees are going to need to make some adjustments and add to what's already a pretty good roster in a lot of ways to get reinforcements in the areas that are now clearly visible that need upgrades. The bullpen needs some upgrades, for sure. Tim Hill made his debut today. Funky little delivery, but I don't think he's the type of upgrade we need. I mean, I'm not going to cast him aside yet, but we need some real arms out there. 17-5. Despite the embarrassing score, it wasn't all bad. Aaron Judge appears like his hand is okay. He was back in the lineup. He smoked his 27th home run of the season. He hit the ball hard a couple of times. He had an RBI single, 3 RBIs on the game. He's going to be at 30 home runs before we get to July 1st, which I will never stop finding incredible whenever somebody does that. I mentioned the other day that I just watched this documentary, Long Gone Summer, about the 98 home run chase, which I lived through and was amazing. Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire. I was hoping we would have something like that with Judge and Shohei this year, but Shohei can't hang. Rough game, obviously, but to add insult to injury or injury to insult, The Yankees got some really bad news about the Martian. Jason Dominguez is going to be out for 8 weeks with a significant oblique strain. We're probably not going to see him till September at least. 8 weeks from now would be sometime in mid to late August. Now, you figure he's back mid to late August. He can still get called up in September. That was probably going to be the timeline for him anyway, but he loses 2 months of valuable development time. And now when he does come back, we're all going to be on pins and needles wondering if this guy is injury prone. That's 2 years and 2 pretty significant injuries. He is a little big for a 21-year-old. He's a little big. Maybe he needs to get on that Giancarlo Stanton diet. Drop a few lbs. But I think we still might see him play center field at some point in September. I was hoping somebody would say that this is 3D chess and the Yankees are holding him out so that nobody asks for him in a trade, but I don't think that's the case. But if it were, that's some next-level Cashman stuff. All right, we're going to do a recap a little bit differently today because it was such an unwatchable game. I'm not going to recap play-by-play for a 17-5 loss, so we're going to go through the key takeaways.
All right, let's go. Let's get it going.
We'll start with the first pitch of the game, though. Line drive double off the bat of Gunnar Henderson. Soto could barely react to it, kind of misjudged it. It was hit so hard. And believe it or not, it was downhill from there for Luis Gil. Absolutely tattooed, and I don't mean his neck. 1 in the third inning, 7 earned runs. Fastball was 99. The changeup was moving. It was wicked as usual, but it was right down the middle. It was like the Orioles knew every pitch that was coming. And it didn't help that he was throwing cock shots. That's what baseball players call it, cock shots, because it's about cock high, and you hit shots when I throw it right there. Anyway, Volpe hit the ball hard a few times today. He had 3 hits last night, including a big double. I think he's getting ready to go on a hot streak. He lined out in his first at-bat of the game, and then he had a line drive to right field later in the game. He also flashed the defense. He continues to look fantastic at shortstop. Errors by Oswaldo Cabrera and Gleyber Torres again today. Torres has 11 errors. He got pulled out of the game in the 6th inning with right groin tightness. You'd have to imagine he's headed to the injured list, which will close a huge hole at second base. Judge obviously swung the bat well with the opposite field home run and the line drive single. Giancarlo hit one hard again. We haven't seen much out of Juan Soto lately. He was 0 for 3 with a walk. He continues to take his walks, but he has not been driving the ball with authority since he came back from that miniature couple of days off where we thought he might go on the IL. In retrospect, maybe it would have been better for him to go on the IL because he's clearly not playing at 100% right now. He had a home run in Boston, but he has not looked great. He has not had the extra base hit ability that we saw so often. And you go back and you watch the guy who was in San Francisco and who carried them against the Giants, totally different player right now. Other than that, Yankees had just 6 hits, just shy of the Orioles' 19 hits. So Orioles, out-hit them by an eyelash. We saw Ben Rice today. He drew a really tough walk, good at bat to draw a walk. Jose Trevino came in to pitch. I mean, I guess they're building up his arm strength. Not much else to be thankful for today.
Mission failed. We'll get him next time.
You get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir. If you ain't first, you're last.
Frank Quiros just with a bunch of poop emojis. And I couldn't have said it better myself. Tantal says, can't wait for excuses from Bubble Boy Boone. I don't get what Bubble Boy means. Oh, because he's always blowing bubbles? I get it. Because of bubble gum. Got it. Look, this is just one of those games that you got to flush. We say all the time you're going to win 50, you're going to lose 50. It's what you do with the other 62. This is one of the 50 you're going to lose. Luis Gil did not have it. We may find out over the next couple of days that he was tipping his pitches, but also helps if you don't throw him down the middle. But, he's not immune from tipping pitches. Clark Schmidt did it earlier this season. Hopefully, if he was tipping, that the Yankees are able to figure it out. I'd imagine that they've got people doing forensics right now on the tape and trying to study what went wrong today. You hope that it was just pitches down the middle, because if he was tipping, that can be difficult to work your way out of. Or you hope they find it and it's something simple like, he keeps his glove open on the fastball and close on an off-speed pitch or whatever. So, it's one of those games where you just flush it and you look forward to the next series, which is against the Braves. Braves are without Ronald Acuna. They're without Spencer Strider. They are in second place in the NL East. They're 41-31, 7 games back, .569 winning percentage. But they can still be a tough customer. They still got a lot of good players. And the Yankees bullpen is completely worn out. Yankees might have to make multiple moves to address the bullpen even before this series begins with the Braves. Because everybody's just so zapped. You can't... I mean, the game went extra innings last night, and then today, the bullpen had to get 23 outs. You can't win like that. It's hard to put together win streaks like that. Do you remember when it seemed like every day we were hitting the win streak button? We're going streaking! Well, it looks like we might be headed for a streak in the other direction. That's 2 losses in a row, and trouble on the horizon if this team doesn't turn it around. Take a few comments here.
What do you hear? What do you say?
Mike Rotonda says the O's are the new Rays to us. We're gonna have a problem with them in October. I don't even know if we're gonna be playing them in October, but if we don't make the correct adjustments, we don't match up well with this team in October. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and agree. Adam Lamparello says we're not a championship caliber team. This team today, obviously not championship caliber. This is the Yankees at their worst, right? When they're at their best, they're obviously a championship caliber team. Look what they did to Milwaukee. Look what they did to San Francisco. Like, when they're really clicking and really playing well, they can beat anybody. But in the big series that they've had against the Orioles, first time they lost Verdugo. This time they lost Aaron Judge for basically 1.5 games. And against the Dodgers, they didn't have Soto. So we've yet to see Yankees at full strength against any of the big players. I guess the closest you can say is Milwaukee, and the Yankees destroyed Milwaukee. But I don't view Milwaukee as a championship caliber team either. They are in first place. They're 44-30, but they're kind of, paper tigers a little bit to me. So, a lot of things to worry about if you're a Yankees fan right now. We got a super chat here from Hoodie says that was a good old fashioned passionate butt whooping. You got to say it, good old fashioned passionate ass whooping, and the Yankees got their shoes, coat, and their hat tooken. That's how we got to say it. But I appreciate the don't know. But just flush this game, as Law of Divine Oneness says. We got the Braves up next. You just turn the page. That's the great thing about baseball. You play every day. When you're a football fan, and I used to watch the Dolphins. I don't watch them much anymore. When you get creamed, lose by 30, 40 points, miss a big kick late in the game, whatever, fumble, turnover, cost you the game, you have to sit on it for a week. At least with baseball, we get to relive this misery tomorrow. But we have hope anyway. And hope springs eternal. All right, let's get some final thoughts here, because I'm anxious to be done talking about this shitty game.
It is far. It is gone.
Anyway. Let me go ahead and pull up the box score, because we didn't do that, and I think it's worth just taking a look at how ugly this was. Izzy says 1 earned run is getting rocked. I'm not sure what you mean there. Who are you talking about? Tonkin gave up 1 earned run. Jose Trevino gave up 1 earned run, but Heel gave up 7. So maybe I missed something in the chat there. My final thought is that the Yankees looked old in comparison to the Orioles, and they are. I like what I've seen from Ben Rice so far. Very picky at bats. He gives up on baseballs that are out of the zone. He quits on them, which I like. We've seen Judge come back and show no ill effects from the hand injury. But the Yankees have some real problems in the bullpen that they're going to need to address. They got some problems throwing out runners. They got some issues. And I feel like there's a lack of available talent for them to go out and get this year. There's so many teams in it, especially in the National League, that it's difficult to go out and make a deal right now. Shane Johnson says Heel was due for that. Yankees needed to win this series. Very surprised that they didn't move Rodon up in the rotation on normal rest and give the extra day rest to a tired Luis Gil. Interesting. You know, sometimes when you give an extra day's rest to a guy like Luis Gil who throws hard and has command issues, they can have those command issues flare up. I think that's maybe what they were trying to avoid. But, yeah, I mean, I would have had no complaints if they tried that. That's a good comment. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tough day for the Yanks. Call into the voicemail show, like and subscribe. We're closing in on 40,000. We're about 145 away or something like that from 40,000 subscribers. But call into the voicemail show. We'll do voicemails tomorrow before the Braves series. And until then, have a pleasant evening.
Oh!